Welcome back to National Report. A number of FBI agents have now sued the Trump administration over the DOJ's efforts to identify employees involved in Trump-related investigations.
And those lawsuits stem from a questionnaire which the Trump administration ordered FBI agents to fill out. It asks about agents and their involvement in the January 6th cases, the Trump classified documents, investigations. The FBI agents who filed the lawsuits fearing prosecution, as the FBI has already turned over the details of 5,000 agents who worked on those cases. The prospect of demotions, discipline, or even termination for career agents, that's been hovering over the FBI since Trump has taken control of the Oval. Judge Andrew Napolitano is here, senior judicial analyst, to weigh in. Can the president fire FBI agents for doing their jobs?
Well, good morning, guys. Yes and no. Sorry for that answer. The FBI agents, like CIA agents, are an exception to the civil service rule. Even though they are theoretically civil service protected, they can be fired if the president doesn't trust their judgment, doesn't want to give them a gun and badge. But they cannot be fired as an act of retaliation for doing their job. So I foresee, if this case isn't resolved with some sort of a buyout, the president is famous for resolving these matters before they get to trial, I foresee litigation in which the FBI agents, suing under assumed names, not revealing who they are, will have to demonstrate that they're actually being punished in retaliation for doing their job rather than dismissed as a cost saver or because the president and the attorney general and the new FBI director don't trust them.
We've heard this time and time again from Republican lawmakers. They say, we appreciate the hardworking members of the FBI, those rank and file agents. It's really the superiors or higher ups or even people described as deep state who are the problem causers in the eyes of Republican lawmakers. Would that be some sort of a defense that these agents could point to, that it was their supervisors telling them to go after?
Yes, and if I can tell you from my own observations and communications with people in law enforcement, it is not the rank and file FBI agents with whom the Trump administration has a gripe. It's their bosses who dispatched them to do things that were aimed at political motivations. Now, that's an argument that a lot of them are going to make. Many of their bosses have already been fired. They're going to say, we just did what we were told to do. Give us bosses that will unleash us to do our jobs, to catch the bad people, to catch the bank robbers and the drug dealers, rather than dismissing us and having to bring in people who haven't been trained to do the work. That's the argument they're going to make, Emma.
I'm curious on your thoughts on this. In Control Room, I'm going to bounce around with you here on this Friday. D05, I wanted to ask about that if I can. So, a federal judge blocked Trump's federal worker buyouts. Remember, it was supposed to happen at 11:59:59, and they had to accept this buyout. They would get 8 months, I think, of severance. Now this has been paused, at least until Monday. Where will this go for these federal workers?
I wish I could answer that, Sean. There are at least 3 federal statutes that prohibit the federal government from paying people not to work. As creative as the buyout is, as amicable as it is, as supportive of the president's goals as it is, it may require congressional legislation to pull off. However, waiting another couple of days really isn't going to hurt anybody. It gives more people an opportunity to weigh in on this. That's what I think the federal judge.
But this couldn't be thrown out altogether, though, Judge.
Yes, it could. It could very well be thrown out altogether for the reasons that I articulated, the 3 federal statutes that Congress has enacted. These are old statutes, but they're there, that prohibit the feds from paying people not to work.
So how could the president then choose to get rid of people who he doesn't want to serve in the federal government?
He may very well need legislation, and he has majorities in both houses of Congress. At one point, he was talking about one large piece of legislation that shrunk the FBI, that shrunk the CIA, that got rid of USAID.